Hi everybody, welcome to a Grimdark Future Firefight Battle Report. Human Defense Force Traitors versus Prime Brothers. Alien Hives have taken control over huge parts of the Legatos Sector. After Custodian Master Talorn's defeat, the order from Supreme Command is now to leave the sector ASAP. A patrol of Prime Brothers are in a hurry to get off the planet's surface, but when they are about to pass through an old camp, the way is blocked by hooded troops. These troops are traitors that have abandoned the Human Defense Force, and their leader, Commander Sarcuzo, has his own plans for the sector, and he cannot allow the Prime Brothers to pass through his camp. The Prime Brothers approach from the south, and their leader is a Prime Master. He is armed with a Master Gravity Pistol, and he is a caster level 2. And with him he has 4 Raiders. They are all armed with heavy pistols and close combat weapons. They are fearless, they are furious, and they also have Strider. Commander Sarcuzo and his troops are deployed along the north edge of the camp. Sarcuzo is a cult leader. He's armed with a Master Pistol and a poisonous blade. With him he has 4 Cult Wardens. They are all armed with shred rifles and close combat weapons. These traitors cannot allow any of the Prime Brothers to leave the planet. This is a standard mission. There are 5 objectives, all of them along the center of the camp. And whoever controls the most objectives at the end of round 4 will win this battle. And of course, it's also possible to eliminate the opponent before that. We'll see. Let's roll off. In this battle, the Prime Brothers will roll the blue dice, and the traitors will roll the black dice. And it's a 1 for the Prime Brothers. The traitors will begin round number 1. Before the first activation, the Prime Master will receive 2 caster tokens, and then the traitors will begin, and 1 Cult Warden will immediately move to the first and central objective of the battlefield, and he will take control of it. With a 6 inches advance, he can still fire his weapon against the Raider here. He's in cover behind the crates, but there is 1 roll of 6. That's a rending hit, so no matter the defenses, the Raider will still have to come up with a roll of 6 because of the rending hit, and he will fail his defense roll. He'll take 1 wound, and that's a very close call on the wound table, but he is shaken. The Prime Master was not expecting any kind of resistance in this abandoned camp. He is surprised by the presence of the traitors, so he will move first. He'll advance and fire his Master Gravity Pistol. 4 shots, hitting on a 3. So there are 3 hits, and 1 of them is rending. So let's begin with the rending hit, and the Cult Warden will defend the rending hit with a roll of 6. Now he needs 5s to block the regular hits, and he also takes 1 of those out, but he will still be hit and wounded. 1 wound. And he will have to roll on the wound table as well. And it's a 1. So he will be shaken, but he is safe for now. He'll still hold on to the objective as long as no Prime Brothers are near. Next up, another Cult Warden will advance 6 inches in cover behind the rocks, and he will also fire his shred rifle. He will need 4s to hit this Raider in cover behind the crates. 1 failed roll, and the other reroll dice will be a 4, so that's a hit. And normally the Raider will need a 3, but now it's a 2 because he's in cover behind the crates, and he will defend. And he's just fine, no hits. So now the same Raider who was just shot at will advance 6 inches forward. He's nowhere near any objectives, but he can fire back, and he will need a 4 and roll a 1. So his shot with his heavy pistol is far off. Another Cult Warden will advance. He will take position here on the middle of the bridge, and he will fire back. The shred rifles have 18 inches range, so he can easily hit the Raider. And again, he will need force. 2 hits, and this time the Raider is not in cover. The Prime Brothers have excellent armor though, so he will still defend the shots with rolls of 3. And he will defend one of them, but also one will hit him. So the Raider will take 1 wound. And of course, roll on the wound chart. Let's see how that turns out. It's a 3. He will be shaken. With 5 objectives on the battlefield, the forces really have to get to the objectives in a hurry. But this Raider will stop before he can reach the objective, and he will instead fire at the Cult Warden on the bridge. But it's a failed shot, and he is not close enough to control the objective. The Traitors, Commander Sarcuzo, will activate next, and he will rush to the top of the rock and take control of the objective. He will put himself into an exposed position, but this is a very aggressive approach from the Traitors. The next activation is this Raider. He will remove his shaken condition. He's back in business. And then the Traitors will move their final Cult Warden. And he will also move all the way to the top of the rock and take control of the objective. So right now, the Traitors control 3 objectives. Final activation of the first round is this Raider. He could move towards the objective, but instead he will charge the Traitor on top of the rock, and by doing so he will contest the objective, and he will charge him with his close combat attacks. He is furious, so he's looking for 6s, and he rolls 1 6, so that will be 2 hits, and the Cult Warden will need 5s, and he will not defend any of the close combat attacks here, so he'll take 2 wounds. The Raider stabbed him twice with his knife, and with 2 wounds, the roll on the wound chart is a 5. It's too much. The Cult Warden will pay with his life, and the Raider will consolidate and take control of the objective. The first round has ended with a casualty on the Traitors' side. The Traitors control 2 objectives, and the Prime Brothers control 1, and 2 objectives are not yet controlled by any of the forces. Round number 2. Once again, the Traitors will activate first, and Commander Sarcuzo will continue his very aggressive style. He will charge the Prime Master and attack him with his blade. He will need force, and only 1 hit with the poisonous blade. It's AP 2, so the Prime Master must roll a 4, and he will defend. Now he can fight back. He is armed with close combat weapons, and he will hit with 1 of those attacks. It's AP nothing, but Commander Sarcuzo will still need a 5, and he will fail. He'll take 1 wound, and he will have to step back. The Raider, operating on the left side of the battlefield, will advance just enough to take control of the objective, and he will fire his heavy pistol on the Cult Warden, and once again, he will fail his shot, but now at least he controls the objective. The Cult Warden under the bridge will advance. He's still in cover behind the bush here, and he can target the Raider on top of the rock. With 2 attacks with his shred rifle, he'll hit with both of them. It's AP nothing, and there are no rending hits this time. So the proud Raider will defend with 3s. And his solid armor will absorb the shots, and he'll take no damage. The wounded Raider will move to the right side of the battlefield and take control over the objective. Now the Cult Warden here on the bridge will advance. He will not charge, but he will get close enough to contest the objective, and he will fire his red rifle at point-blank range. He will hit once. And again, the shred rifles are not the strongest weapons. They have no AP, and the Raider will easily defend. In this second round, the Prime Master now has 4 caster tokens, and he will move first, and then he will try to cast the spell Cerebral Trauma. That will cost him 2 caster tokens, and he will spend 1 more to increase the chance. So he'll need a roll of 3 to get the spell to work. And it's a 5. The spell will work. Now, the enemy leader here, Sarcuzo, is hit with an AP4 hit. And he has no chance of blocking that. So he'll take his second wound. And next up, the Prime Master will fire his Gravity Master Pistol. And he will hit with rolls of 3. He'll hit twice, but both of them are rending. That will be very tough for Sarcuzo to do anything about. He will be hit twice. So he's now up to 4 wounds. And that will force him to roll on the wound chart. Could this be the Traitor's final moment? It is. Commander Sarcuzo will pay for his treachery. The Prime Master has killed him. This Cult Warden will remove his shaken condition. He again can control and contest the objective, and he really needs to, because now the Raider here will make his second charge. The last one was really effective. Now let's see about this one. 1 close combat hit. The Cult Warden needs a 5. And it's a 6. He will block the close combat attack, and now he can fight back. He also has 2 close combat attacks, and he will also hit on a 4. But he will not hit with any of them. The Raider will move back, but still contest the objective. The final activation of round 2 is this Raider. He will remove his shaken condition, and at the moment, the Traitors have suffered 2 casualties, one of them their leader. But they still control some of the objectives, and they also contest 2 of them. The Prime Brothers control 2 objectives when we move into the 3rd round. The Traitors finished first and will once again begin the 3rd round. And this Warden will target the Raider once again. He'll hit once, and this time the Raider will fail his defense roll. So he'll take 1 wound. And the roll on the wound chart, it's a 5. He was shot at several times. This time it was too much. So the Cult Warden has taken out the Raider, and he also now controls the objective. This Raider will advance 6 inches to the top of the rock and claim the objective from the Traitors. And he can also target 1 Cult Warden behind the bush here. He has a clear line of sight and can shoot once with his heavy pistol. He'll need a 4, and the heavy pistol is AP1, and it's a solid hit. The Warden must roll a 6, and he fails. He'll take 1 wound. And it's a 5 on the wound chart. That was a shot right between his eyes. The Traitors are losing men, and they are losing objectives. This Cult Warden will move slightly, still close enough to contest the objective, and fire the shred rifle at the Raider. He'll hit once, unfortunately not a rending hit. So the Raider's armor might absorb that without any kind of trouble. Yeah, exactly. The Prime Master has gained 2 new caster tokens to the 1 he had from the previous round. And this time he will try to cast Time Passage, where he can target up to 4 friendly units within 12 inches. And if he's successful, they will get AP3 next time they charge. This one is no good. Let's re-roll that one. And that's another no good dice. And at the end, he will fail his spell. So there will be no additional AP to his units. Instead, he will rush 12 inches along the center and to the left side of the battlefield. And right in the middle of the battlefield, this fight is not over yet. The Raider will charge. Again, 2 attacks. He'll hit with one of them. And it's not rending, but still it takes a 5 to block the attack, and the Cult Warden is not able to do that. So he'll take 1 wound. And he will fail the roll on the wound chart. He will also be cut and stabbed with the close combat knife. And he's removed. And the Raider will take control of the objective. Now this Raider will also rush. There is only 1 Cult Warden left on the battlefield, so the Prime Brothers can focus completely on him. And that completes the 3rd round. This looks really bad. Even though the Prime Brothers lost one of their brothers in this round, they are in complete control of the battlefield before the 4th and final round. The 4th round will begin with 2 new caster tokens to the Prime Master, and then the Cult Warden will activate. He could try to escape, but as a traitor, he probably will have no future. Instead, he will try to assault the Prime Master. So he will have to roll 1 more to hit with his shred rifle. He will need a 5, and he will roll a 6, and that's a rending hit. The Prime Master will take 1 wound from this assault, and that was the first part of the assault. Now he charges into the Prime Master with 2 close combat attacks, and again he has to roll 5s instead of 4s, and no, the assault will end here. But the Prime Master can strike him back with his 2 attacks, and he will hit with a quality of 3. And he will hit with 1 of his attacks, annoyed with this assault. And he will strike the Cult Warden. He'll take 1 wound, and this could possibly be the end of these traitors. No, he will roll a 1 on the wound chart, so he is shaken, and he will have to back off. What will happen next with only 1 shaken Cult Warden on the battlefield? The Prime Master will move slightly back. He will spend 1 of his tokens to cast Psychic Terror, and he will use the other one to increase the chance. In this case, the Cult Warden will take 1 AP to hit, and this time the spell is good. So he'll take another hit, and he will not defend this one either. So that's the 2nd wound, and another roll on the wound chart. He will still pass. He has +1 because he's already shaken, but he is still doing good. Now, it's not over yet. The Prime Master will fire his gravity pistol, and he will be on target with all 4 shots. And the Cult Warden will defend 2 of them, but he will also be hit twice and take 2 more wounds, and that's up to 4. And now I think it's safe to say it's over for this traitor. Shot down with magic and bullets. The Prime Brothers are victorious. They have complete control of the camp. They have seized all objectives, and they have eliminated the traitors. Commander Sarcuzo had big plans with his Human Defense Force traitors, but now it's history. And even though this is a victory, the Prime Brothers are still under a huge amount of pressure. The alien hives are spreading all through the Legatos Sector. Thanks a lot for watching this battle report. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please like and subscribe to the channel, and I hope you'll join me for future bat reps.